Man, it really feels good to watch a non-shonen anime be valid. Just saying. Just saying. Lego. What's going on, people? What's really good? It's your boy Marv, and this is the Nerdz in the Hood. Been a little while, folks. Good to see you again. Definitely last time I remember talking to y'all, I believe we reviewed Snow White, the remake, the live action remake. But y'all ain't coming for Snow White. Y'all ain't coming for no live action adaptations. Y'all came here to talk anime. And winter anime, I must say, did not disappoint. I didn't see everything, right? I had to pick and choose what was out there. So I didn't get to see everything. I heard rumors. I heard, little ting-tings here and there about what was good and what was not good. So I had to do my research. I was watching the One Piece remake, the Fishman Island joint, and I was like, Solo Leveling, to me, I'm going to make a review about that, so we'll talk about that later. Sakamoto Days was holding it down for Netflix. However, I have to talk about this hidden gem that I found on Hulu. A hidden gem that I found on Hulu. Hulu, let's be real, y'all. Hulu is not necessarily known for anime in terms of good ones. I'm not going to say they don't do anime, right? But what I am going to say is it's not often you're talking about anime on Hulu, right? What's the main one you're talking about on Hulu? Bleach, right? And Bleach was already established before it got to Hulu. So you had your other ones here and there, your summertime renderings, your Ishura. Like, you had different ones here and there, but they weren't really like the most talked about stuff. So Hulu is more of the hidden gem anime section, right? Crunchyroll, you get everything. Netflix knows what they're getting, but they're also going to throw in a few hidden gems here and there. But Hulu and Disney Plus, since they're now combined, they will find you one that you're not expecting. And that one is called Medalist. Now, if you did not see this, I suggest you go see it. I believe it's like 13 episodes. They just wrapped up their first season. The second season is announced sometime either this year or hopefully not too long into the next year, like Solo Leveling. But you now know that Medalist is doing his thing. This is a sports anime because it is an anime about figure skating. I didn't see a lot of anime about figure skating before this. I know the main one was Yuri on Ice, and that one was surprisingly not bad. Gotta say, it really wasn't that bad. I was sitting there like, this is, as a dude from New York, I'm gonna sit there sometimes and go, hey, yo, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. You put that to the side, put your pride to the side, and admit that it's not bad. Anyway, Medalist is a anime that is based off of an award-winning manga that came out 5 years ago, still rocking to this very day. So that means we're going to get plenty of stuff going. Now, if I can give you the quick synopsis of what this show is basically about. Basically, it's about an 11-year-old girl she's like a fifth grader. Her name is Inori. And she decides to keep skating because she wants to skate. She knows her sister is a skater, and her sister's all right, doing okay. But her mom is worried that, she's not going to be like her. She don't want her to end up like her sister. Not in a bad way, but she don't want her to like... What it is like you see a lot of people that are adults, and they're like hit or miss in the world of figure skating, right? And one of the people that we also meet, who's also one of the main characters, is Tsukasa. I just want to make sure I'm saying these names right, so that way it won't mess me up. Now, this man is a young adult. He's in his late 20s, and he is figuring out his life because he gave up on figure skating years ago. He just he made a mistake. He failed out, but not in a bad way. He wasn't a loser. He was actually pretty good. And one of the best ones out there was Junyo Daka. This guy is technically the antagonist of the series. He's not an evil bad guy, but he's one of those guys in the sports anime that's like, thinks he's so nice that you're not going to see his level. And now you're looking at it like, oh, nah. So what's cool about this is that these are older adults training these young kids to be as good as them or even better. And each one of them have each one of these adults that you meet, that they're coaches, they're ice skating coaches, and they're former veterans themselves. And a lot of them you'll meet they have their own pupil that they teach and train to be good. And then you meet these different kids that Inori befriends over time, right? I believe one of the main ones she tries to make sure she catch up to is Hikaru, right? If I'm right. Yep, Hikaru. Now, she is one of the main ones. She's like the nicest one, but she's not a bad person. They become friends really fast early on in the series, but then June is like, nah, don't even be bothered with them little homies over there. You are one of one. Which brings me to another one of my favorite characters is Ryo Sonidori. Now, this young man is like a mixture of a Sasuke / Naruto, because it's like there's a part of him that wants to be dope, but there's another part of him that's like, because he had a bad upbringing and his life was kind of meh, he's kind of just like, yo, F everybody. There's a moment where I think he sees Junior Daka and just is like, yo, that nigga whack. Like, he just was like, I mean, he obviously didn't say it like that. I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, piece of shit. Like, it was something like that in the English dub, and it was really, really funny. So I know I'm kind of just throwing off of different details in the story. I'm not going to sit here and tell you the whole show, but I am going to say that it is a very cool show about figure skating. When they actually go to competitions and they do their routines, the animation is pretty good. It takes like a nice CGI-ish type quality, and they make it so that way is like, it would get that 3D kind of vibe, but it still looks okay in the moment. And then they even show you, as sports anime always does so good sometimes, the inner dialogue that they're having with themselves while they're doing the routines. Like, they'll say, if I land this jump, this will make it. Oh no, I messed up. I got to keep going. So it'll show you the mindset that a skater has, even at a very early age, as to how they're going to try their best to exceed and prevail in the competitions that they have. Now, be that as it may, the thing I love about sports anime is that sports anime is always designed to inspire you to push yourself to your limits and even surpass them when you don't think you have anything left to give. And yes, it's always cool to see sports anime about like teenagers, but sometimes there's cool ones like this where it's just a simple figure skating thing and about never giving up. This was a girl that nobody was seeing, and at her age, she technically was like too old to do certain to really be even figure skating. They felt like as a 5th grader, it was already too late for her to try. But then her coach, Tsukasa, he saw like, yo, this girl got skills. Like, she can do it. And he fought for her out. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. There was a moment where he meets Junior Daka, and Junior Daka is his, like, one of his idols. Like, he looks up to him like, yo, this dude is dope. I know who he is. And then June was like, yo, I remember you, bro. I remember you. You botched that joint back in the day and took that L, bro. And you think you and your little homie's gonna be nice enough to be me and my homie? Nah, that's not happening. And my man Tsukasa was like, yo, you violating. Nah, I'm winning this whole thing. Word to my dad. Like, he was just going off. He was like, we winning this whole thing. What's up? I'm going to see you next time. And it's on site. And I was like, whoa. And then even Inori had to look at him like, okay, coach. Okay, that's how we rocking. I'm with you. I'm riding with it. So it's moments like that that made you be like, yo, this show is kind of cool. Like, I love that moment. Like, there was times like, I'm going to say this. Haikyuu, this show right here, Medalist. I'll say Yuri on Ice. I ain't even going to hold you. Hey, no shame in my game. Yuri on Ice. And I think for right now, that's it. Rise and Impact did that too. Oh, Hajime no Ippo. So those sports anime for me, I ain't going to lie, I shed a little tear. I remember I saw Haikyuu's dumpster battle. I shed a tear. I couldn't do it. It was that emotional. Sports anime will get you there. It will get you there. Imagine when you see your favorite team win a championship, your favorite MMA fighter win a championship, boxer, wrestler win a championship. You feel like, man, I feel great for him or her. They did their thing. I love that. You know what I'm saying? So I felt that way when I watch sports anime. When you see, a person start to love it for the first time, the sport that they're playing, or the first time they win, or the championship, or even the first time they lose, or the time they lose bad. You see the resolve that they have and the drive that they have to want to keep going. Even though it's an anime, you see that, you feel that in your own self, and it inspires you to be like, yo, I'm trying to do that. I want to go that route. What do I got to do to get to the next level? You know, whether it's in work or life or whatever the case may be, you got to love anime like Medalist because they don't have to go hard. There's no fight scenes. You know what I'm saying? These are the type of animes I love. Where it's like, it's either sports or slice of life, but it's sports with no powers. No locked in abilities, no the zone, none of that stuff. Just no powers, not a lot of signature moves, just regular slice of life living. Those are the type of shows that I can vibe with. I will say this though before I jump into the reviews and all that. The review. One of my favorite moments, because they do have funny moments that make you laugh. You know, he's kind of a funny character on this show. They do have moments where you gotta keep it a buck. And I'm gonna dedicate this one to the most popular rapper in the world right now, Sir Kendrick Lamar. There was a scene where Rio's dad asks Tsukasa to coach him because he was originally being coached somewhere else, and then he's like, yo, could you coach my son? Now his dad was a former ice skater too. He was dope, but he retired. But he got a lot of other things on the plate. He said, yeah, I ain't trying to watch this little homie. You watch him. Now, in the beginning, it wasn't seeing eye to eye. Rio was like, yo, you ain't even nobody. What you do? You ain't like Junior Okada. You ain't even fire. And he said, word, I feel you. And my man said, you know what? Let me talk to you real quick. Grabs him, throws him inside the rink, throws on his ice skating gear. I'm referring to Tsukasa, throws on his ice skating gear and decided to do Rio's whole routine to show him what he was lacking. And why I dedicated this to Kendrick Lamar, you already know the verse. Sometimes you got to pop out and show him. And this grown man said, I'm about to do that to this little kid because he's not going to disrespect me. They not like us. Even Ian already had to turn around and be like, yo, you see my coach? And Rio was like, yo, shut up. He was like, nah, this is my coach. Sometimes you got to pop out and show you. That was my favorite scene. That was like episode 12, 13. You got to see it. This show to me, it's not the best show of 2025. It's not the best anime of the winter season, but it is one of the most underrated anime of the year. I'm going to keep that a buck. I know there's other anime coming out. Spring anime is right around the corner. One Piece is coming back, you know what I'm saying? And we still got summer and fall and winter or whatever. But this right now is one of the most underrated anime of 2025. You need to check it out. It's on Hulu or Disney Plus if you have either one. Or you have both, don't matter. Watch it on one of them. Enjoy it. Quick 13 episodes, nothing too out of the ordinary. With that being said, I do also want to go into the theme song. But first, I want to give the review board here. We're going to bring that down. This is the review board I'm going to use for the theme song, the ending, and the show overall's first season. If you already know from the hood, when you see these kind of words and you hear people say these kind of words, you know the vibes. If you're not from the hood, I got the definitions right next to them. Let's just go from there. So I'm going to honestly say this was a valid show. It definitely exceeded my expectations, right? And I love shows like that. I love shows that are underrated that you go watch and tell people, yo, you got to watch this show. It's not bad. When you feel good that you could carry that weight on your shoulders and know that the show's going to be all right, you feel all right. You know what I'm saying? You feel all right. There is nothing wrong with that. So with that being said, we also have, like I told y'all when I did the Daima review, I like to start reviewing openings and endings. So I wanted to use this one right here, which is the opening for this show is called Bow and Arrow by Kenshi Yonezu. It definitely sets the tone for what the show is going to be, and it is pretty catchy, I ain't gonna lie. The opening and endings are both valid. Let's just put it out there. The openings and endings are both valid. The ending song, let me just make sure I got that, is Atashi no Dress by, I'm over here killing these names, by Negesu. So, Neguse. See? Neguse. Anyway, because that one's very catchy too. I be catching myself at the end just like, so I'll do that. But I like it. You got to have an opening that sets the tone, and you got to have an ending that makes you feel good about what you just saw. So kudos to this show. Again, make sure you watch it. Even if you're not even a fan of sports anime, but if you like sports, you like slice of life, this is the anime for you, okay? So I'm going to come back with more anime reviews, more Nerds in the Hood content. Definitely check out what I got brewing all over social media using the link tree in the description below. Follow your boy Marv Lat and check out what the nerds are doing. And if you haven't already, subscribe, like this, comment. Let's talk about it. What's one of your favorite animes of winter 2025? Basically, the beginning of 2025, as we're heading on into the spring anime season. Till next time, people, I'm going to catch y'all. Peace. Jump, jump, jump. Skate, skate, skate.